everybody, Chris Cox here. I got a great Kiss guitar lesson for you today. We're going to do Cmon Love Me from the Dress to Kill album. The tuning for this is E flat, if you want to play along with the record or the lesson. Also, I'd like to mention I've got a Patreon channel that will have the complete guitar tablature for this lesson and a bunch of other lessons as well. So you can access that through the description in this video, the link for that. So I sure do appreciate the support. And let's go ahead and get started with that opening riff for Cmon. Okay, so let's go over that opening riff. These are all 5 chords, or bar chords, power chords, you know, they're referred to often. So they're the same shape. So the very first one's going to be a C sharp. So that's just, and I'll go over the frets here in a second. And then the next one's going to be a G sharp. And then we have an F sharp, a B, an A pi on the neck, and an E. So the strumming pattern will be that's going to be starting on the C sharp. That's a 4th fret of the A, 6th fret of the D, and you're just doing that. Then you're going to switch really quick from the G sharp back to the C sharp. Play that slowly again. And then there's a quick change up here at the F sharp to the B string. That's going to be 2nd fret of the low E, 4th fret of the A for the F sharp, and then the B, you're just going to move that shape down to the next 2 strings, which will be 2nd fret of the A, 4th fret of the D. So play this so far, we got. Then we shift way up high here. This is going to be an A5, do this. So that's going to be 7th fret of the D string, 9th fret of the G string. So those are all down strums. We keep that same shape. We move it up here, 2 strings. That chord between that change is going to be at E5. That's 7th fret of the A, 9th fret of the D. So we have this so far. Then come back up here and back to those chords we learned earlier, which is F sharp. Guys, I'm using this killer new Nux guitar pedal called a Mod Core. It's a chorus pedal, so it is now a permanent part of my personal guitar rig. I love it. So I have been using it in this video, so you'll get to check out the sound. Very versatile. I'll also leave a link in the description so you can go look at their website, but I highly recommend checking out. They got tons of great products. There is a little intro lead at the very first part, or a fill, and that sounds like this. Okay, so we'll go over that. So it's in the, I guess this would be C sharp minor pentatonic scale. So that would look like this. So C being here, and then if we move from fret down, that makes it a C sharp. So there's your roots. C sharp, C sharp, C sharp within that scale. So the first part we do so we pluck the 9th fret of the D and do a 2 times, and on the 2nd time we're going to hammer on from 9 to 11 on the D string. And then you do a slide. So you're sliding from 9 to 11. So that's just 1 pluck. And then you're playing 9 to 11 on the G string. So we have this. Then you do a bend. So I call this a bend up and release. So you're bending the 11th fret of the G string up. And when you come down, bring it back to the original pitch, you're pulling off from 11 to 9. So, and then you finish there on the 11th fret of the D. So we have this. and then we come to here. So that's going to be the 12th fret of the B, and we're doing a full bend, which is a whole step bend, so that's 2 frets. So you go up, then you come up to here and go. So here we are on the 17th fret of the B, and we do a. So we're rocking back and forth from this pitch. So actually, if we did it, we picked it, it would sound like that. So you're back and forth, up. After that last time you do a pick, you're going to come back from 17 of the B to 14 of the high E, and then finish on a. That's going to be on the 19th fret of the B string. So again, so a lot of the same chords we learned in that introduction riff are going to be played in the verse too, but we do have, I think, maybe one extra chord there that we haven't learned yet. So I'll play through slowly the verse. So this is where the singing starts. So. Then we get into the pre-chorus. So all these are down strums. So the first one is going to be what we learned earlier, the C sharp. And then we just repeat that. So we go. Repeats again. Then we're going to come down here and ride this A chord. So. So that's 7th fret of the D, 9th fret of the G. Just playing the D and G strings together, just all down strums. Now if you move down 2 frets, that's going to be a B, same shape, B5. And then we come back to where we started. Next part, repeats. Same thing. Changes here. So let's go over that part. That would be considered the pre-chorus. So after we do the that's going to be after we do that. So a little climb there that goes from C sharp. So that's 4th fret of the A, 6th fret of the D. Move everything down a whole step. That's going to be 6th fret of the A, 8th fret of the D. Then we land on the E5, which we learned earlier, which is 7th fret of the A, 9th fret of the D. But then when we get into the pre-chorus, we get this kind of rhythm. So let's go over that. A lot of early Kiss songs play that little chord shuffle. You know, you see this thing a lot in blues rhythms. but great for rock songs as well. You'll see it so many times in all kinds of different rock songs. But you're basically doing so we're doing 2 down strums with just your fingers on the 7th fret of the A, 9th fret of the D. So we do it. On the 3rd one, you're going to reach with your pinky and grab the 11th fret of the D string, but you're going to let that A and D strings ring. So I'll play that rhythm for you again, that strumming pattern. Then we switch that same thing. We're going to move up here to the B5. That's going to be 7th fret of the low E, 9th fret of the A, and do the same kind of rhythm. But this time your pinky is going to be going back and forth, letting up and off from the 11th fret of the A. So then we go back to the E and play the same thing. Then we switch down here to the F sharp, then go to the G sharp. So that's going to be 9th fret of the A to 11th fret of the D, all down strums. And then we switch a whole step down to the 11th fret of the A and 13th fret of the D. And then you just let that trail off. The second verse is no different. All the verses are the same, so you just go back through. We'll just do a quick playthrough. Oops. Okay, but now we'll say when you come back into that second verse, there is one guitar fill, which we already learned. It's just a portion of that first lead guitar break in the beginning of the song. So it's back here again at the 17th fret, and we just do that rocking back and forth. But you could go. You could just go back and forth from the 19 to 17 if you don't want to bend, but I'm pretty sure Ace bends on this, so he's going. So that's rocking back and forth on that 17th fret of the B, and then come to that 14th fret of the high E, and then finish on the 19th fret of the B. And that's a full bend with vibrato at the top. So that will be the, technically, I guess, second guitar fill. So everything is the same, nothing changes, all the verses are the same. The only thing that's different is the very end of the song, there's another lead break. Now, this is kind of the hard part. A lot of bands out of the 70s did these things where they would basically do one side would be playing one lead guitar, and then the other side of the speaker would be playing a completely different lead pattern, so they were kind of intertwined. You hear this a lot with Black Sabbath too. So it's really hard to kind of distinguish what all is going because there's a lot of notes happening. Definitely couldn't play both of those together. So I'm just going to kind of basically pull out the most, I guess, clear part of that ending solo, and just kind of, it's really similar to the middle guitar solo. There's not too much difference. But I always encourage people to use that little ending, the outro solo. That's a chance for you to kind of improvise if you want a little bit. So maybe work around that C sharp minor pentatonic scale and play around and see what you can come up with. But at the very end, we have that. There's where the chorus is, and then the last part of the solo goes. Nothing changes. Then Ace kind of just rocks back and forth on that 12th fret of the B, but then there's another riff that goes, and I kind of added that last part. So the last little couple licks is something I play when I play along with it. But you're just basically doing a 11 to 10 on the D. So it's just 2 picks to 9, back to 11. And then ending on the 9th fret of the G. So and then I do that's just a pull off from 11 to 9 on the D, and then it's the 11th fret of the A and back to the 9th fret of the D. Okay, so let's go over that guitar solo. So the first note is going to be on the 11th fret of the G. It's going to be a really wide vibrato and bend. So you're doing a full bend. So it's going to sound like this. Now when you come out of that, you're doing kind of a bend and a release. When you do the release, you're going to pull off from 11 to 9. So, and then land on the 11th fret of the D string. So, and then you play that lick. That's just going to be a pull off from 11 to 9 on the D. Come back to the 11 on the D, and then go to the 9th fret of the G. So we have this so far. Now we switch to the 12th fret of the B string and do that same kind of bend, that really wide vibrato bend. But we do this. It's a little bit different. So a little kind of like a chromatic run here on the A string from the 9, 10, and 11. So you can just do a hammer on there if you want. And the hammer on is just hammering, you plucking that string one time, hammer onto the 10, hammer onto the 11. And then the last part of B from 9 on the D to 11 on the D to 9 on the G. So then it repeats. So that last part's a little bit different. You do that wide vibrato again, but at the very end you do a. So that's just basically where you're bending up a whole step, bring it back down to the original pitch, bring it up again. So we go again, and then you finish on the E note on the 9th fret of the G. So let's play everything slowly.